So why in person? I consult a lot of companies on their hybrid work or their in-office, and they'll be like 3 days a week. Why? If you can't answer that question, you're going to get pushback. People need to understand reason for gathering. And you need to be able to frame that so people understand it. But I can give you some reasons for gathering. People in person actually release different hormones. Weird. Not to make you uncomfortable, you're like sitting a little too close to the person next to you. But we do. And if there's touch involved, even more so. Hugs are one of the weirdest human traditions I think we've come up with. Like, I haven't seen you in a while, let me hold my body against yours. I've just met you, let me hold you for a minute. But there's actually purpose behind it. Even a handshake is touch, where we release oxytocin, which is our human connection and bond hormone, but it actually is something we release with pain. So it's our natural pain reliever that we release not enough of during childbirth. But it actually helps with emotional pain. So there's research that if you are going through physical pain and you're around more people, you experience less pain. That is true on the emotional, psychological side as well. Just being around people, they're not even doing anything, just being around people. The hug, fascinating literature. 10 seconds reduces stress. 20 seconds improves multiple biometrics of health. Reduces blood pressure, reduces heart rate. But do you know how awkwardly long 20 seconds is? So after reading this literature, like 10 seconds is painfully long. And I thought about doing an example here. I won't do that to you guys, but it is so painfully long. So it's gotta be somebody you really like. And you're like, oh, I hope I showered. But this idea, this is why we touch. This is why we're in person. This is why we need and want to see you in 3D, as long as we can capitalize on it. There's a research that is so fascinating, especially as a mom, that we see improvements in oxytocin and decrease in cortisol, which is our stress hormone, not when mom texts a teenage daughter, only when the teenage daughter sees the mother. Okay? So your communication matters, but your presence matters more. As another fascinating, completely unrelated piece of literature, did you know that children are 800% worse with their mother than the next of kin? 800% worse behaviorally. Story checks out. We need a clear purpose on gathering. Now, I have to go back and say this joke is for the Canadians in the room, so basically your audiovisual team and the 4 other people. So to give you preface and background, we are in Toronto, they have a hockey team and they are terrible. Okay, these are the facts you need to know, and then you're going to come with me. So, we need to have a clear purpose on gathering. And for people that run events, they're like, yeah, of course. No, I even mean in small gatherings. So if you've ever been on vacation with somebody that's not also on vacation, so if you have somebody and you're like, I've committed to disconnecting from work for the next week, and the person you're with is like, I have not made the same commitment. It is so hard to then disconnect for you. You need to have a clear understanding and a common goal when we gather. If you don't, revisit that and have effective communication about that. Same with meetings. What are the common goals, guys? Get on the same page before we meet. It'll be much, much more productive. But it doesn't have to be a good common goal or purpose. Like, people in sports gather all the time just to watch a team lose. So much of the literature around human contact and human connection is with children, okay? This is fair enough. There's really great studies about orphanage. There are studies, they're not great. The literature is great, the result is terrible. That orphanages, that children are not touched, how they tend to not thrive at all. They need human contact, and we're getting so much of this kangaroo care and human touch. So much of how we're designed and how our brain is designed is in the first 1,000 days of life.